What's going on, guys? It's Assassin Legacy here with my first ever YouTube video. And I have made this YouTube video 3 times now. I've spent 2 hours making this video. I'm very tired, so if I have a little bit speech issues, it's probably because I'm very, very tired. The first video I made was about 37 minutes long, and the audio wasn't on, so no one got any of the audio. The second one, the display capture wasn't on, so no one saw the display capture at all, which isn't too bad, but it was just a black screen, which isn't you don't want to see that. And then the third video, I forgot to press record, which was just all my fault. You know what I mean? But all of them have been my fault, but that one was the probably most infuriating because everything was already set up. It was just I didn't press start recording. But anyways, this is going to be my tier list of each Assassin's Creed game because I wanted to make a video that would help me connect with you guys and also you guys get to know my opinions on the Assassin's Creed franchise and where I think the best games are and where I think the lower tier games are. So first off, these are the games I just haven't played. I haven't played any of the Chronicles. I've played a very small amount of Liberation, but not a lot. So I'm not gonna redo all that. You know what I mean? I have played Freedom Cry, so I'll keep that there. But anyways, this video is probably going to be only 20 minutes long. The first ones were 30 and 40 minutes, but I've went over each of these games 3 times now, so this is my 4th time going over this. So please excuse the video not being insanely long. Number 1, Freedom Cry, which is the Black Flag DLC. I'll put about average. It was fun with Adewale, Edward's quartermaster. That was a great time to see that. But it wasn't really too anything spectacular. It was just basically Black Flag's spinoff with this freeing slavery, stopping slavery and stuff. It was basically just regular. It wasn't too much craziness going on. You know what I mean? It was good, but it wasn't anything mind-boggling. But I think I'll actually just go in order. I know I started with Freedom Cry, but I'll just try to go in order now. So next we got Assassin's Creed 1. Great. I think it's a great game. The story was great. I loved how, you see Altair go from almost being cast out of the Brotherhood to becoming the new mentor of the Brotherhood, and he's the youngest known mentor ever of the Assassins. Fun fact. But I love the parkour for the time period for being 2007 when this game came out, which is older than me. I was born 2008, so the fact that the parkour was so advanced for that time period was truly mind-boggling and honestly insane. I found that impeccable. The main thing I had was the problem with this was the repetitiveness in the missions where you would go talk to Al-Mualadin, he would send you to a city, you would go to the bureau, talk to the bureau leader, then you would go get information on him, kill the target, run away from the guards, escape the city, go talk to Al-Mualadin, rinse and repeat. That was the only issue I had with it. But for 2007, there wasn't too much content in this game. So I can't knock it for it. The content was pretty good for what it was. Overall, a great game. Next one would be Assassin's Creed 2. This game was awesome. I really, really enjoyed this game. This game was very fun to me. The story is the best. It's the best story in the whole franchise. I'll tell you that much right now. I really like seeing Ezio's, whole life story, from him being born to literally becoming the, Ezio, or the assassin he's known for. It was sick. The revenge plot, I like the revenge plot. Monteriggioni, being able to upgrade it, customizing it, that was awesome. And then the gameplay was pretty good with the assassin contracts were fun. But the only issue I had was the gameplay was good, but also not amazing. Because it was very repetitive with certain things. Just doing assassin contracts, or not repetitive, but it wasn't very variety. It was collect chests, feathers, do contracts, all that other jazz. It wasn't really too interesting. Plus, Italy was it was a cool place, but not my favorite setting. I'll say that. So overall, awesome, great game. Next one, Brotherhood. First, perfect. I have 2 games in perfect. Brotherhood's one of them. Brotherhood is such a very, very. It's basically just I feel like the buffed up version of Assassin's Creed 2. I feel like the story was a little bit worse, but it's very, very, very... Actually, the stories were almost very similar. Maybe a little worse. But the gameplay took a big buff with the Borgia Towers, the Leonardo missions. There was so much more content in this game. You know, taking over Rome, being able to buy like general stores, art stores, like clothing stores, like that was sick. And then also being able to see Ezio in his prime, where he's not too old to where he's not agile or like athletic, but in that prime age where he's wise, smart, knows what he's doing, is a great leader. He's a mentor by now. He's a leader. He knows what he's doing. You know, like he understands how the assassins work. And then Cesare Borgia is the worst villain. Like not worst villain like that, but the best. He's the best antagonist the series has ever had, but he's the worst like in terms of just the horrible. He did the worst things ever. From the very beginning of the game, where Uncle Mario, who was a very, 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 very important side character in Assassin's Creed 2, gets instantly killed at the very beginning of the game by him when he pulls the pistol out and shoots Uncle Mario right in the head, right in front of Ezio's eyes. Like, that was crazy to see. But Rome was probably my favorite part of Italy. Probably is my favorite part, so the setting was better for me, too. And, it's a little small thing, but graphics got buffed up more. Like, the graphics just got better, which was so cool to see, It's not an issue to me, but it's just a little thing that made it better. Next one, Revelations. Great. Right behind Assassin's Creed 1. Great game. Story was okay. I did not like the Templars with Prince Ahmed and stuff. He was really underwhelming compared to like Rodrigo Borgia, Cesare Borgia, and Al-Mualim, who were all three better than him. Prince Ahmed was very, very forgettable. I didn't care for Constantinople too well. I really like the ending of Assassin's Creed Revelations with, ending Altair's story and ending, what's his name, Ezio's story. I like the fact that Ezio goes to Masyaf library, sees Altair laying there with the key, opens the key to get the piece of Eden, talks to Desmond through it, and they both conclude their story while the Ezio family music's playing in the background. Like, that was just a great ending. Probably the best. It was the best ending in the franchise. I loved it so much. Overall, a great game. I would definitely recommend it. It was fun. Next game would be Assassin's Creed 3. I think this game was at the very top of great. This game did so many things right. I really liked that Connor was very, very. I like how he was a Native American and not just and he wasn't just a. He was a Native American. He wasn't a British, or he wasn't an American guy or American blooded, because like Ubisoft is an American company or whatever. I like how they made him just a native. Like, he wasn't either on either side, even though he was partly British. He was dominantly a native. He grew up in native land, so he didn't have a favoritism towards either or. He chose what he thought was right, which was the American side, for liberation and freedom, which was sick. I like how they did that. I like how Hatham, probably the second, actually, well, in terms of villains, I wouldn't even consider Hatham really a villain. I consider him more as like had to be the antagonist, even though he really wasn't. That was the only second thing. But dude, the homestead missions were the best side activity ever added into the Assassin's Creed games. It was so detrimental. Like, if you've only played Assassin's Creed once, right, or Assassin's Creed 3 once, and you didn't play, and you just played for the story, I encourage you to come back and play the actual homestead missions. I think the homestead missions will generally like make it go from a okay game to a good game. You know what I mean? I think I think the side content in this game is very important. The naval missions were fun. The assassin contracts were also really fun. The homestead missions were super fun with doing Achilles stuff. That was sick. I love that. That was all great. You know what I mean? Like, I truly enjoyed all of that, and I had a blast with that. That was actually fun to, rank or not rank. What am I talking about? That was really fun to play, but it did have some setbacks. Connor was a little bit weaker of a protagonist, kind of a crybaby, cried a little bit more than I would like, and the setting was just a little bit worse. Like, America, I live in America, so I already kind of knew everything about it. I didn't really get to learn too much, so I kind of set it back a little bit. Next game. I'm just going to leave it right there. This game is amazing. I was born in 2008. This game came out in 2013. I started playing Assassin's Creed when I was 5 years old. I used to live in North Carolina, and it would be like -7 outside. I remember I would literally go in the living room, and I would just see my dad playing it on the TV, And I remember I would, because we didn't have a stand for the TV, so he would have it on the ground. So I would literally sit on the ground with my dad, and I would just sit there in like 30 blankets watching him play Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And I remember just being so blown away that like it was insane. I would, every time he would go outside to do something, I would grab the controller and just play a little bit until eventually I took over the PS3, which was the first time I played it. And like I remember just being able to have my own ship and being able to, literally have my own like be a pirate in the game and have my own ship and board other ships and take them and like destroy them, or to shoot cannons and stuff. Like as a 5 and 6 year old, like that was mind blowing. That was like, whoa, that was cool. You know what I mean? So like I was all over that. Like, I would play, like I think I dressed up as a pirate that year just because Black Flag made me love pirates so much. Like seeing Blackbeard in that game was crazy. And I love Edward as a character. I love his acting, his vocals. I think he was the best of the characters. Truly, like I generally think he was the best franchise or best character in the franchise. Like he only had one game, and people already consider him to be almost better than Ezio. And Ezio had 3 games. Like I always said, if Edward had 3 games, I think he would be like considered the GOAT. So I think it's pretty impressive that Edward had only 1 game, and he was managed to be up in top contention with Ezio as the best character. These two were such good characters. Seeing Edward go from a greedy pirate who didn't care about nobody, he just wanted the riches and wealth, to going to someone who was very kind-hearted, caring for everyone around him, and didn't care about the wealth, and actually understand what it meant to be an assassin, was probably, he had the best character growth in one video game I've ever seen, from going from like how ignorant and non-caring he was to being a caring person like that. It was pretty mind-boggling, and you really truly witnessed it throughout the whole game. And probably my favorite setting is the Bahamas. I love the tropical vibe. I love all the variety in colors, like seeing Havana with all the Spaniards and like all the different music and design of architecture, to going to like Kingston, which is a lot different music and a different architecture. And then going to like the Bahamas, which is where Nassau is, and seeing all the drunk pirates and like the more sloppy town and not so picked up and cleaned out. Like it was cool seeing all the different variations the game had to offer. Plus the first legendary ships, that was so fun to play. I loved that. Next, after Black Flag, would be Assassin's Creed Rogue, which I think was about an average game. I liked it a lot. I liked it. The only problem I had was the story mainly. The story, I didn't like how they made the assassins the horrible guys and the Templars the good guys, even though, like, I wish they showed the Templars still had bad guys in their fold, and then the assassins still had good guys in their fold, even though they were seen as bad. Like, I wish it was a better mixture. I did like Shay. He was very, very good. I don't know why people say Shay is forgettable. I personally don't think he was. I think he was a very interesting character. I always liked him. I liked his development. I always liked that he did what he thought was right, whether that defied the assassins or that defied the Templars. He did what he thought was right. Like, literally, he didn't care who he offended. He did in what he thought was right, which is, I respect that. Like, he just did what he believed was the correct thing to do. And I liked that for him. Also, I love Black Flag, and Rogue was literally just a great gameplay copy of it, basically. I love the gang headquarters. That was fun to take out. I also love getting 100% in that game. Like, you know when you clean your room and your room's nice and clean? You get that satisfaction. It's like that for Rogue for me when I got 100%. It was great. Anyways, next game, Unity. I love Unity. It was a good game, but the only problem I have is I think it was one of the more overrated games. Like, I think this game was pretty overrated, because the one issue I have with it is a lot of people talk about, oh yeah, the parkour is so nice. I think the parkour isn't even the best. I think Assassin's Creed 3 was the best parkour, which I didn't even mention. Parkouring through the trees in Assassin's Creed 3 was the best ever. I would sit there for an hour and just parkour through. But anyways, like, the parkour in Assassin's Creed 3 is, my personal opinion, the best. But Assassin's Creed Unity, I think, like, it was fun, but overrated. Like, the co-op when it first came out was super fun, playing with my friends, not having to play Assassin's Creed by myself, being able to do, like, these cool, like, being like a duo fantasy assassins, like, you kill this guy, I'll kill this guy, we kill him at the same time so we don't get detected, in sync and all that. That was cool, you know? But eventually co-op died after about a year of being released. Maybe like 2 years. It died pretty fast. And then also, I didn't like the story. I hate the story. Bottom 3 story. hearing Elise, because every time Arno was doing something good and going up and up and up, Elise would come in and he would just go straight down the hill because he would just bend a knee to her and listen to everything she did. Elise really held back Arno's potential. They tried to make like an Ezio copy of, or they tried to make Arno like an Ezio copy, and it just didn't go off well. It really didn't. But the gameplay was pretty good. The stealth was really good. The collectibles was not fun to get. There were so many collectibles, and nothing was really engaging besides some of the missions, which got repetitive. And then Unity, the one thing I have an issue with is people always like talk about the parkour was the best parkour, yada yada yada. I disagree. I think the one problem that people failed to like mention is that Unity, even though it was a bug fest when it first came out, it was a really bad one. It's still a bug fest today. Not as bad as it was with all the patches, but it is still buggy. Like I remember like jumping. I can't tell you how many times I've jumped off a building because of Arno accidentally. Like I would press X to like climb up a little faster, and he would just jump backwards and just kill himself. I can't tell you how annoying that was with that happening all the time. Like it was so annoying. And it truly made me upset. And I didn't like how I couldn't control him as well. It was really annoying. Next game, Syndicate. Very, very average. Like, right past Freedom Cry, average game. Like, Syndicate was good. Protagonists, Evie and Jacob were annoying. I didn't like Evie. I hated her voice actor. I thought she was really annoying. Jacob, I didn't like too much more, but he was better, more tolerable. The story was okay. I like the Black Box missions. They were the best in the franchise. Like Mirages and Unities didn't even come close to what Syndicate's Black Box missions were. But Crawford Sterritt was like a cartoon. I remember one of the scenes he was playing like the piano and a guy walked in and he just shot him in the head because he interrupted him. And then he continued playing and I was like, really? That's so cartoony. And his cartoonish mustache, like, he just didn't look like a villain. He just looked like he was supposed to be a villain, but he just wasn't. You know what I mean? And the ending of the game was really underwhelming. Like, very, very underwhelming. I did not like it. Like, killing Crawford Sterritt really didn't impress me. But I did like taking over London and seeing, like, the Templar lose their influence over time and the Rooks slowly building up. I liked that a lot. And seeing the Rooks become the new dominant gang in London, that was cool to see. I liked that a lot. Next game after Syndicate was Origins. And boy, did they cook with Origins. Awesome game. I loved Assassin's Creed Origins. When it first came out, I disliked it. I was like, what is this RPG stuff? Yada, yada, yada. I played for 2 hours, and I got off and stopped playing it. And I came back in 2019, and I was like, played it, and I was like, I'm a dingus. This game's amazing. From seeing Bayek go from literally killing his son on accident to avenging his son and killing all the bad guys, and then eventually leaving his past behind and becoming the first known hidden one and doing what was good for the people and not what for himself was awesome to see. Ancient Egypt 2 was beautiful. But Alexandria is probably a top 3 city of all time. Like, Alexandria was such a beautiful city. I loved it so much, seeing that city. I remember, like, looking at it, I was like, wow, they have chimneys back in that time? Like, that's so advanced. And I forgot how advanced the ancient Egyptians were. Like, it was insane to see that. And, like, their balconies were pretty, like, stylish, like, to almost like what we have today in, like, balconies. I was like, wow, that's insane they were able to do that back in that time. And how compact the city was and like vibrant and colorful and like alive it was. It was so awesome to see. I loved it so much. It was a good city. Ancient Egypt was a beautiful setting as well. I liked the setting a lot. I really liked Bayek. He's probably my top 4. I'd probably go Edward, Altair, Ezio, and then Bayek as my 4 favorite characters. Like, Assassin's Creed Origins was good. And then the Hidden Ones DLC was so nice, seeing Bayek in his assassin uniform and like seeing him send out these contracts and seeing all of his like recruits and all of his like, other fellow assassins wearing like their all white robes with their hood and stuff. It was awesome to see, and like their little bureaus with all their notes and letters and stuff of targets. It was awesome to see from there, developed from that to like, Masyaf with the similar like assassins and a bunch of stuff like that. It was awesome to see. Origins, great game. Awesome game. Loved it. Next game after Origins, Odyssey. Also an awesome game. I think they cooked with Odyssey too. At first I didn't like it because I was like, where's the robes? Where's the assassins? Where's the hood? Where's the Brotherhood? Where's the hidden blade? Like, where's all this at? And so I stopped. I didn't like it at first. And then I played it for how the game was. I didn't pay attention to the fact that it was an assassin build. I just played it. The gameplay overall was satisfying and fun to play. taking down those forts and completing all the checklist stuff on it was fun. You know, all the rewards for the boss fights were awesome. The story was actually pretty good for what it was worth. Like, the reuniting with your family was actually interesting to watch, and saving your brother from the cult, that was cool. And killing the cultists were actually a really fun activity. Also, like, even though the fighting was a little clunky because it was so, like, the enemies were damage sponges, they would take like 30 hits from your sword and still have like half their HP. The abilities was fun to use, like seeing all the guards like fly around and like you just kind of kill them all and do like crazy cool abilities. It was cool to see. And ancient Greece was beautiful. The tropical islands, the mainland, like it was similar to Black Flag, and that's why I love the ancient Greece setting so much. I really liked it, honestly. I enjoyed Odyssey. I think Odyssey, for what the game was, even though it wasn't like a textbook Assassin's Creed game, was good. The first bad game, Valhalla. I did not like Valhalla. I remember this game almost ruined my passion for Assassin's Creed for a little bit. Because I remember seeing it and I was just like, what is this? I remember I was like, okay. I went to the prologue. It was interesting at first, but then once you get to that middle part where you had to take out all these we had to go to all these kingdoms and help them out, like that just got so boring and repetitive. And Eivor felt like more of a side character. Like Sigurd and Basim were more interesting. They felt like the main characters, and Eivor was just that side character that you were forced to play as. Like, it sucked. I didn't like England as a setting either. I thought the setting was really bad. And I also didn't like to do the raids and stuff. Collecting chests wasn't satisfying. I didn't like how it was like the little orbs was like the picture icons too. That bothered me a little bit. I didn't like it. There wasn't very much variety either in the collecting. It was literally chest, those Roman like those like artifacts, like there was like tattoo papers they had to chase, which are like the shanties from Black Flag. And then there was also like the Roman artifacts. Like, none of that was really interesting for me. So game, like, collecting and gameplay was a little bit down. Parkour was non-existent. The stealth detection system was literally broken. Like, bad game for me. Mirage. I get some hate. Awesome. Love Mirage. Because after Valhalla, right, my love for Assassin's Creed died out for a little bit. I stopped playing for like 6 months. And then I see Mirage's return to roots saying, like, that was their like, slogan for the game. I remember I watched every gameplay trailer, all the trailers, all the like the whole entire creative directing, like all their interviews, all their videos of explaining the game. I watched everything, so I knew everything about this game. I was so stoked for it to come out. I remember it came out, and boy, did I feel like a true assassin again. Like, I remember going to I remember being like, okay, the very beginning was fun, but then when you go to Alamut and you see, like you're training and you see Basim, like the training like sequence when he's actually like practicing getting his robes and all that, and you see all the other assassins doing the same, like it felt like a true Assassin's Creed experience. And then you go to the bureaus to get information, talk to your fellow assassins, kill the targets. Like, that was sick. Hearing Roshan be your mentor, helping you, guiding you through it. Basim was a great character. Seeing what made him turn bad in Valhalla, seeing from him being a great guy to what made him go a little bit cuckoo in Valhalla. It was great. The combat was really bad. I'll admit the combat wasn't great, but I do like the game tried to not make you not even use the combat. They rather you be stealthy, and I like how after the game came out, Basim was very slow, or not very slow, but he was slow, and there was no back eject, there was no ejects, so a modder made Basim faster and added ejects, so people were able to use that, and Ubisoft Bordeaux saw that and decided to add that into the game for people who are also on console who couldn't get mods and stuff, and just because they knew people wanted it. And so they made Basim like 25% faster, and they gave him back ejects, side ejects, like all the eject options. And I just thought that was cool to see a Ubisoft branch truly care about their fans and were willing to actually listen instead of saying, we want to know your guys' feedback and what we can fix, and then they end up never doing it until like the next Assassin's Creed, which half the time doesn't even get fixed. But to see them actually add an update that actually impacted the game and how you play it was sick to see from a Ubisoft company or Ubisoft branch. It was awesome, which was their first actual Assassin's Creed game I'm pretty sure they built. It was sick to see that, and I loved it. That really bumped it up from like a great to an awesome, you know what I mean? And then last but not least, Assassin's Creed Shadows. Average tier. Assassin's Creed Shadows for me was what could have been. I didn't care for feudal Japan. I wish it wasn't a dual protagonist. I wish Yasuke wasn't really a character because he couldn't do anything. He wasn't good at stealth. He wasn't good at parkour. He was just good at fighting. Where Naoe was also a good fighter, but also could do stealth and everything. She was just overall better. The story sucked to me. I hated the story. Like bottom three. Like it was interesting with the very beginning with her father and Naoe, but then once it got to that middle where you were killing these like Shinbaku, it just got super boring. Seeing all this, it just got boring. Like it was just not interesting storytelling and writing. Naoe was very bland character, not interesting, like really not memorable. Like you wouldn't care, you don't really care for her, really. Yasuke was cool, but he didn't even get that much screen time, and he was also very boring. I didn't care for too much for feudal Japan. I don't like how you had to finish the characters' individual quest lines just to actually get the rest of their story out, and I don't like how the story's continuing into the DLC to where like it's actually very important to play the DLC. I wish it would just finish in the actual actual main line of the game, and I didn't like. It was cool. The one thing Shadows does have good going for it is the stealth was by far the best stealth in the whole franchise. Like the light system, the hearing your footsteps, like that stuff was cool. That was great. The being able to go prone was sick. But the other stuff, like the parkour was not good. Like doing like 30 flips like in the air was just cool at first, I guess, but it was like at some point it killed the fluidity, and it was just like, really? Can you not do that? Can you just like go forward in a way, you know what I mean? But overall, I think it was an average game to me. But that's over my opinion. But yeah, guys. So this is my opinion on all the videos. Let me know if you guys agree, disagree. Make sure you leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Honestly, please comment down below. Tell me what your opinions are on these games, what you liked. Show me your tier list, like what you liked and disliked. Like, let me know what you guys liked, what you guys disliked. Please comment. I'm always open to, go over stuff with you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.